All right, welcome to the broadcast, Certified True TV. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. So tonight's broadcast, or this afternoon's broadcast, about how Chrystia Freeland is a liar. You know, she's a straight up liar, just like Carney and Karina Gould. They're all liars. They're only lying for their interest to gain power. They're not telling you the truth. They don't want to tell you the truth. And I think they're very dangerous people. I really do. I think they're very dangerous. But I'm going to show you this video by Chrystia Freeland. Just let me do a mic check here. We should be all connected here. Good. All right, so let's get it. So let's go through her lies.
Cabinet rocked the government, and many pundits say the shockwaves from that letter have led to where we are today, with Trudeau leaving and now the race to replace him. Well, it's on. On Sunday, Ms. Freeland.
Right, where we are today. Crazy.
Officially launched her campaign to be the next leader, and this morning she's joining us live here in studio to talk more about why she wants the job. Ms. Freeland, good to see you this morning. Thanks for the time.
Good to be with you, Dave.
Okay, so let's talk about, this is the big day, Inauguration Day. I realize it's day 2 of your campaign, but I think we have to talk about kind of the elephant in the room being the Donald Trump return of the President Trump here. Your thoughts on not only Donald Trump being back in office, but the threats of financial annexation to Canada, 51st state. If you become Liberal leader and therefore Prime Minister, how would you tackle Trump?
Number one, I'm for the 51st state. I think Canada should become the 51st state of Canada. I think it'd be good, but we need a strong leader in Canada that can understand this. Low taxes, access to housing, gun ownership. And you know what I'm saying? It will benefit the average Canadian. And if you can't see that, I won't tell you.
We need to be strong, smart, and united. The key.
So, ma'am, why weren't you strong, smart, and united when you were under Justin Trudeau? You were his finance minister. Where was all this language under Justin Trudeau? You worked for it. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
The key thing is not to be scared. What Trump wants is chaos.
Ma'am, why would I be scared? Trump is a bull in a china shop. He was democratically elected. America first. Where is your Canada first message? Where is it? I don't see it.
What he wants is uncertainty. And as a country, we have to say, you know what? We can stand up for ourselves. I love what Bill had to say about the weather. He said, we love Canada, we can get through this, and we're tough. I think.
But there's so many people that don't love Canada. They really don't love Canada. When Justin Trudeau was at a Taylor Swift concert, exchanging friendship bracelets with minor girls, Montreal was burning. They were in the streets of Montreal chanting death to Montreal, death to Canada, death to America. So we're not all united on this front. Like, this is like, we're just not. Like, I remember, I could pull it up. Matter of fact, I think I will. Hold on a second. Like, it just goes out the window. Like, you're not authentic at all. Mrs. Freeland, Mark Carbon Tax Carnage, and Karina not Gould. Hold on. Do you guys remember this? Hold on, let's do this here. So what do you mean we should be united and all this stuff? Do you guys remember this? Pro-Palestinian protesters in Canada death to Canada, death to the United States, and death to Israel. What about this? How come you guys were quiet when this was going on? I don't even think she commented on this. This was November 24, 2024. Look.
Do not wonder how revolution could possibly be done. Men who have never known a free day, who have lived their entire lives under the thumb of one of the most powerful settler colonies in the world, built paragliders to fly over a wall so high that it blocked out the sun when you stood underneath it. Do not wonder how revolution can be done. We must do it. Death to Canada. Death to the United States.
So ma'am, what do you mean? Like you didn't even say anything about this. You had no comment when they were chanting this in the streets of Montreal. You had nothing to say. Nothing to say. Pierre said something. Right? Here's some more. Right? While he was dancing, you were his finance minister. Right? In their application form to receive the free money from My Tax, how they can enclose the evidence that that they burnt Canadian flag, yelled death to Canada, and destroyed properties of Canadians. What are you talking about, man? Right? This was all under Trudeau. You were there. Look. Right? They're burning the Canadian flag. And now I'm supposed to believe what you have to say? No. This is why I'm doing this stream. Let's go.
That is who we are, really, in our core. And it's that attitude that we have to bring to this truly challenging situation.
And it is challenging, and you have experience on this. I remember, I think one of the last times I saw you was in Washington.
Hold on. Okay, yes.
Going back and forth during the sort of free trade sort of renegotiation here. With your experience there, what did you learn about Donald Trump, and what would you therefore bring to the table this time around?
She didn't learn anything. She didn't learn nothing. She's not bringing anything to the table. We already know this. And again, here's a challenge for you, Miss Freeland. You want people to vote for you? Have a real conversation, not force-fed questions. Pre-authorized questions that are fed to the reporter from Legacy Media, fed to the reporter at Legacy Media. Mrs. Freeland, let's see you go on a real podcast and have a real conversation. Let's see you do that. Same with Mark Carney and Karina Gould. Let's see you go on to a prominent podcast and have a real conversation. Pierre Poilievre, he actually went on Jordan Peterson's podcast, but I digress.
I learned two things. One, he does not like weakness. For him, weakness is an invitation to just push harder and ask for more.
Yeah.
The second thing I learned is if you're smart, if you have a plan, and if the fundamentals are actually good, which is what Canada offers the U.S., you can get a great deal. We did it before. We can do it again.
Okay, let's move to why you're in the running then. We saw the letter. Everyone read the letter. It was kind of a bombshell that broke as we were on air here, about a month or so ago here. Your split from Justin Trudeau came as a shock to so many people because, I did a Google image search of you over the weekend, and in so many pictures, you're side by side with Justin Trudeau. Can you explain a little more of your case as to why you decided now is no longer the time to sort of support him or sort of be in his cabinet, as it were?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Ma'am, you will say the right thing at the right time in the right moment. Right? Let me say that again. Most of these liberal Democrat politicians, they support the neo-economic order. They will say the right thing at the right time in the right moment. They can't think on their feet. Like, they can't do it. We know they can't do it. A lot of what she's saying, she doesn't even really mean what she's saying. She doesn't even believe what she's saying. That's the difference.
And you started the question, Nick, saying, why am I in the running?
Donald Trump believes what he says.
And I'm in the running really because we need to stand up to Donald Trump, and I am the person who can do it.
No, you're not.
I know how to fight for Canada. I know we need to fight for Canada.
You know how to fight for Canada. So when they implemented the carbon tax, when Justin Trudeau, when you were under Justin Trudeau and he implemented the carbon tax, you weren't fighting for Canadians. You let him do it. You weren't fighting for me. I'm a native-born Canadian. I'm born here in this country. You weren't fighting for me, Mrs. Freeland, because you will say the right thing at the right time in the moment, or you'll stay quiet. You'll be mute. You won't say anything. You don't fight for Canadians, right? You just don't do it. We know you don't do it. And I'm going to make sure if I can, start some live streams and dismantle your ideology, dismantle your lies, dismantle what you stand for. That is the liberal economic order, where you're not where your policies do not benefit the average Canadian. They just don't. They just don't. And we know this. Terran, what's going on, man? What's up, man? Terran, you said, bro, can't believe they lied. They lied, bro. Yeah, well, that's what they lived through. They lived through lies. We've already exposed all of that, right? And we're just adding on to more of the exposing of these liars, right? We have the opportunity to now do this, and it feels good. It really does feel good. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't suggest that someone lie, cheat, and steal to get ahead, because eventually that has consequences, negative repercussions. Mrs. Freeland doesn't understand that. She doesn't get it, and she never will get it. I'm not voting for none of them, so they don't have to worry about a brother like myself to go and cast a vote for people that are not in for my interests. That's not going to work. That's not going to fly. That's not going to fly, my guy. Let's continue.
I have a plan to fight for Canada,
plan?
and that's what we need right now.
You have no plan to fight for Canada.
But of course, your close association with the Prime Minister, a lot of people, it's hard not to know. I mean, it was like kind of hard to separate you. Even as he was talking, he talked about how you were side by side with him here. How will you distinguish yourself from?
Right. She was side by side with Trudeau.
The Prime Minister's record in this race, because so many people, again, Finance Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, you're very closely linked.
Yes.
Nick, for me, this campaign.
Right. You're very closely linked. I'm not voting for you. You haven't even spoken to any foundational Black Canadians. You haven't done any of that. You haven't had a conversation with foundational Black Canadians. Like, it's really crazy. It's really, really crazy. But let's continue.
Has been a real liberation. It is great to be able to say exactly what I think, to speak as a leader, and to speak.
You don't
in my
say
own
what
voice.
you think.
I am loving.
Ma'am, you don't say what you think. You pretend to say what you think, and you don't believe what you believe, or you don't believe what you think.
It. And, I did resign from the cabinet. I was disagreeing with the Prime Minister more and more. I realized we were, as a government, on the wrong path.
So under Justin Trudeau, Chrystia Freeland knew that she was working for someone that was on the wrong path. And then when it got too tough, when it got too hard, when it got too tight, she resigned and is now running for Prime Minister. She's now running to be the leader of the Liberal Party. Why would I vote for them? I'm just not going to do it. I'm not voting for them.
I knew Inauguration Day was coming. See all your coverage. Canadians know this is the central issue. I knew that had to be what our government was focused on. We couldn't afford to throw away $6 billion. We needed to keep our firepower dry. And today we need to look to the future. And we need to say, as Bill said, we love our country. We are tough. We can get through this.
Ma'am, there's a lot of people in this country that are evil. Ma'am, there's a lot of people in this country that do not love Canada. So you're just like I don't understand. Like your party is for people that are not assimilating into Canada's society, that don't even know how Canada works. Your party is not for Canada first. Your party is not for Canada first. We know this. We know this.
I have a plan to do that. And crucially, I have the guts and the experience to deliver on that plan for Canadians.
We know Donald Trump doesn't like you very much, Ms. Freeland. How would that change things if you went back into negotiations with him?
I think it is a huge advantage for Canada. It is really, really important for Donald Trump not to sense weakness, not to sense that Canada can be bullied, not.
Like, ma'am, this is why Justin Trudeau resigned, because he's a weak leader, and Donald Trump can sense weakness from Justin Trudeau. Weak men creating hard times. Come on, man, this is easy.
To sense that Canada will capitulate. He knows that I won't do any of those things. And that's how we get.
How does he know this?
A good deal.
Let's go back to the disagreement you're having with the Prime Minister, because let's say you win this race. Of course, there's several people in the race right now. If there was a disagreement in your cabinet, how would you handle things differently? Like if your finance minister came to you and said, Prime Minister, I think we're on the wrong track here. How would you tackle that differently than what the experience you've had was?
Well, probably I wouldn't tell my finance minister I was going to fire her the day after she delivered the fall economic statement. I probably wouldn't say that 3 days before she was supposed to deliver it.
Ma'am, you agreed with everything that Trudeau said up until the last few months. You agreed with everything he said. Everything he said. He's going to put an extra tax on Canadians through the highest levels of inflation, 40-year high, and you said nothing. You were okay with that.
Interesting note there.
Step one, right?
Yeah, step one, yeah. Okay, let's talk about the carbon tax. That is sort of the signature policy of the Trudeau government here. You have said no more carbon tax. Why no more carbon tax?
No more consumer-facing
consumer carbon tax. Pardon me. Yes, yeah.
You know why? Because that's what the people are saying to us. And
man, we've been saying it to you for almost 5 years. We've been telling you guys what we want. And by the way, just before, let me back up for a second. Back up. Look at this woman, right? Hold on, let's get a. This is the same woman that froze truckers. Sorry, that froze people that donated to the truckers convoy. She froze their bank accounts. She went after those people that donated for the trucker, the Freedom Trucker convoy. She froze those people's bank accounts. Let's play that video of her smugly enjoying that. Like, that's crazy. Again, evil, right? I'm gonna use X, right? Hold on a second. Chrystia. Hold on a second. I got you, Chrystia Freeland. Don't worry. I'm gonna make sure that my audience knows the truth. Right? They didn't talk about the Freedom Trucker convoy in this interview. Oh, you want to see her? Oh, yeah. So when she froze people that have donated to the trucker convoy's bank account, she laughed. She thought it was funny. No, she thinks it's funny. A reminder that a person that laughed while freezing the bank accounts of Canadians feels entitled to lead our country. Let's blow that up. Let's blow that up. See that? See that there? Right? WEF, World Economic Forum Board trustee Chrystia Freeland belongs in prison. Remember, she's smugly laughing at this? Look.
So you're confirming that accounts have been frozen, both personal and corporate, but you're not releasing the information. So you're confirming that accounts have...
Right? She laughed about it, right? Canada's finance minister, Chrystia Freeland, has resigned. Here, she is laughing about freezing the bank accounts of truckers who protested Trudeau's tyrannical COVID policies. Good riddance. You want to see it? Let's watch.
So you're confirming that accounts have been frozen, both personal and corporate, but you're not releasing the information. And the actual follow-up is, I'm just wondering whether the bank accounts will be targeted of individuals who donated to the Give, Send, Go and the GoFundMe campaigns. Are they considered designated people under the Emergencies Act, meaning that their credit cards could be cut and financial services are targeting them as well?
Okay, so the names of both individuals and entities
as well as crypto wallets
Okay.
have been shared by the RCMP with financial institutions, and accounts have been frozen, and more accounts will be frozen.
Oh, okay.
Crowdfunding platforms and payment service providers have started the registration process with FinTrack. In terms of the specifics on whose accounts are being frozen, you now have the regulations. The financial service providers have those regulations as well, and they, working with law enforcement, will be making the operational decisions.
You see that? Right? She was for that. I'm not for that. Absolutely not. Right? It says remember when during lockdowns, Chrystia Freeland praised cross-border truckers, then villainized them and froze their bank accounts. Question mark. I do. She laughed about it. What a change. Lost freedom files. Listen.
Like the food in our grocery stores for essential medical supplies. And those goods arrive very often by truck. So we need to be thoughtful about how the people who provide those essential services, including facilitating cross-border trade, are.
All right, there she is laughing. So you get the point, right? We played that, so that's good. Okay, let's go back to her lies. Let's see. Okay, let's go back to this woman's lies.
Probably I wouldn't tell my finance minister I was going to fire her the day after she delivered the fall economic statement. I probably wouldn't say that 3 days before she was supposed to deliver it.
In my humble opinion.
Interesting note there.
Step one, right?
Yeah, step one, yeah. Okay, but let's talk about the carbon tax. That is sort of the signature policy of the Trudeau government here. You have said no more carbon tax. Why no more carbon tax?
No more consumer-facing
carbon tax. Pardon me. Yes, yeah.
You know why? Because that's what the people are saying to us. And democracy is about listening to people. It is not a.
So when they told you that freezing, when they told you freezing people's bank accounts is wrong, you guys didn't listen. But now all of a sudden you want to listen to the people because you want power. You want a lot of Canadians to get power. Can't lie to me.
About saying, dear Canadians, dear people of Ontario, you are so, so wrong. To be a good leader, you have to listen to people. And that's what we've heard from the people of Ontario and across the country, where people have a consumer-facing price on carbon. They're saying, you know, we don't like it. And progressive premiers, you know, premiers like Wab Kinew are saying the same thing. So we have to listen. And at the same time.
Why do you want to listen now? You're lying again. You don't want to listen.
We do need a strong plan to fight.
Again, she'll say the right thing at the right time in the moment.
Climate change. It's important for our planet. It's important for our kids. It's important for our economy. And I absolutely know we can do that.
On the other hand, though, when you were asked about it, when you were in the government, you would sort of highlight the fact that I think the number was about 80% of Canadians were kind of getting more back than they were paying on the carbon tax. So if you get rid of the consumer-facing carbon tax, are you not taking money out of people's pockets in a time when there's an affordability crisis?
You know, when you're in a government, you play with the team. All of us have the experience of having a boss and having a team. With the price on pollution, with the carbon tax, I think the people have been really, really clear. People just don't like that, and they're saying that to us. I really think
people just don't like that, and they're saying that to us. This woman is terrible.
Ability crisis?
You know, when you're in a government, you play with the team. All of us have the experience of having a boss and having.
Yeah, play with a team that's not Team Canada, because her ideology is not Team Canada.
Having a team. With the price on pollution, with the carbon tax, I think the people have been really, really clear. People just don't like that, and
No, people just don't like you, Miss Freeland. They don't like you. And again, I'm making this video to show the world why a guy like me that is born in Canada will not be voting for carbon tax carnage, carbon tax Carney. I won't be voting for Chrystia, Freeland, or Karina Gould. I'm not voting for none of them. And if you're a wise person, if you're smart and you understand simple, complex systems, you won't do it either. You'll join me on that.
They're saying that to us. I really think that if you're in a democracy and you're not listening to people and you're lecturing them, that is not going to work. And so that is.
You weren't listening to people and you were lecturing them.
To us. I really think that if you're in a democracy and you're not listening to people and you're lecturing them, that is not going to work. And so that is.
But I've been saying that. Like, we know it's not going to work. But you're vying for power.
Important change I think we need to make. And we need to make it because I know that people in Ontario, people in Toronto, they do know that we have to fight climate change. But they're saying,
ma'am, I live on the outside of Toronto. I don't know if you have to fight climate change. No, I don't know that. You're not God. Why would you put a carbon tax on Canada, but America, India, China, and other countries don't have carbon tax? So what? You're going to fight climate change in one part of the world? What are you talking about? And Donald Trump just withdrew from the Paris Accord anyway. So we're fighting the climate change, with the carbon tax, but other countries, they're not going to abide by this. Ma'am, your logic makes no sense.
This element of the plan, we just don't like. I've heard them, and I'm going to do what they want us to do.
So they don't like it, or
you're not going to do that. No, you're not.
Or is it that they don't understand it, that it wasn't sold so well, that people kind of got confused about this whole, you're going to pay now, get money back? It sort of seemed to throw a lot of people, like, the misunderstandings of it.
Maybe, but at the end of the day.
No. There's no misunderstanding, sir. Right? The interviewer of CP24. There's no misunderstandings. She's appealing to stupid cogs. She's appealing to stupid people that will vote for not their interests. Right? They're not voting for their self-interest. They're actually voting to destroy the country. If you vote for Chrystia Freeland, Justin Trudeau, carbon tax Carney, or Karina Gould, you're not voting for your interests. She's appealing to dummies. Sorry, I'm not a dummy. I don't move that way.
I really don't believe in saying to voters, to Canadians, oh, you just don't understand. It's not right. Like, people are smart. People understand what they think and what they want. People are being really clear, and democracy is about hearing that message and acting on it.
Okay, well, we are in the thick of a lot of democracy right about now, Ms. Freeland.
We are.
Okay, enough of this clown. Let's go to Chrystia Freeland's grandfather, Michael Kamek. He was a Nazi collaborator. Hold on. It says, why Chrystia Freeland's Nazi grandfather matters. That's one of the articles here. Says why Chrystia Freeland's Nazi grandfather matters. Peter McFarland wrote, "Family Ties: How a Ukrainian Nazi in a living witness linked Canada to Ukraine today," which exposes the full content of Michael Kamak's Nazi sympathies. This was her grandfather. Man, how come you're not addressing any of this? Again, another reason why I won't vote for you. When Chrystia Freeland's grandfather, whom she's repeatedly cited as a political influence, was outed as a Nazi collaborator to Canadian media in 2017, much ink was spilled defending his wartime activities as an act of sheer survival. A new book reveals that narrative to be totally bunk. I think it's Mikhailo Kamyak, Freeland's maternal grandfather. And then I think you got to pay to read that article there. But her grandfather was a Nazi collaborator. I'm not voting for her. I'm not voting for her. Why would I do this? No, absolutely not. Okay, where's it at? Okay, I think it's this one here. Oh. Okay. Anyway, you can do your own research. It's there. Her grandfather was a Nazi collaborator. Another reason why I won't vote for her, like I said. All right, here's some photos. Here's some photos of all right. All right, she doesn't address any of this, does she? Right? There's a grandfather there. How come she never addresses any of that? Right? Like, again, it's their playbook is from the Nazis. That's why she acts and talks this way, because she's doing exactly what her grandfather was doing back then. Right? Counterspin, new book on Freeland's grandfather reveals his Nazi past and role supporting the Holocaust. So her grandfather supported the Holocaust. Pretty crazy stuff, right? Pretty crazy stuff, right? So Cognac had come to Canada with his family after the Second World War and has been portrayed as a typical hardworking immigrant. But his past hide something a little more sinister. He had been an editor and propagandist for the Nazis. Cognac was in charge of, I think that's Visti, an anti-Semitic newspaper that promoted the Waffen-SS and denounced Jews. Freeland responded to the Global Reporter that claims about her grandfather were part of a disinformation plot by the Russians. So she lied and said it was a disinformation plot by the Russians. But no, absolutely not. Freeland's supporters in Canada News rushed to defend Cognac. That's legacy media. Again, I would never vote for her. Okay, so let's go to X. She has some photos up there now on X of her doing nothing once again. Oh, Terrain, you said, wow? Well, I mean, I'm just telling you, bro. What you want me to do? I'm just fucking around, but just telling you. I'm just telling you, right? What do you want me to do? I'm not voting for these cogs. So we showed you that video. Some of her posts here that she posted. Okay. So she says here, this was 7 hours ago. She said, the workers of Winnipeg's Cartier International are dedicated and hardworking. The people and jobs I'm committed to fighting for as the leader of the Liberal Party of Canada. Join the fight. Sign up. Sign up to vote. Ma'am, I'm not voting for you. Okay? You understand that? My streams will be dedicated to people that can see through your bullshit. Okay? Right? These guys don't know they're left from the right. They don't know they're left from the right. They'll just go along with the program. Right? A masculine woman wants me to vote for her. Right? These weak-minded males can do that. I'm not doing that. Okay, so that's her, right? She only got 7 comments for someone that is allegedly popular, right? She posted that, right? And she can't be around real people because real people will question her, right? But let's go back to her Nazi grandfather. Okay, you want to go back to that? Let's go back to her Nazi. Oh shit. Look, there's her Nazi grandfather. And it says, let's go back. Let me see here. Someone said there was a lot of Nazi collaborators and supporters who came to Canada after the war. There are 900 names of alleged Nazi war criminals still secret. The Canadian government was never interested in looking deeply into their backgrounds. This book, which I bought, examines the life of one of these Nazi collaborators. It should also be noted that Freeland stood up in the House of Commons to praise her grandfather as an inspiration. Through that, with MPs praising last year's Waffen-SS veteran, I think that's Yaroslav. I think that's Yaroslav Hunka, and you might see a pattern. By the way, our brave Canadian soldiers fought the Nazis and their ilk. Let that sink in. So exactly. So the Canadians that were fighting in World War II fought the Nazis, but yet Chrystia Freeland, great-grandfather, was praised when he came to Canada being a Nazi propagandist. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Okay, so we got that right. So that's the stream for Chrystia Freeland.